Let's stop.
I'll go through there? Yeah, why not? Sure.
Alright, a little bit extra trail. Ooh. M Trail, okay.
38C.
38C, M Trail. Limited recovery area. Words, the park will not come out and get you if you get yourself stuck out here.
Hey, so this is the base of the M Trail. Sometimes it's referred to as Thunder Alley. And we're just going around basically our group. So we're going to go up M, maybe about a third of the way, and then go to the trailhead, and then we'll loop around, and then we'll come down M, the whole entire M Trail. The difference between like a blue and a black trail is a black trail is a harder trail than the blue trail, and typically it's just like the obstacles are just slightly bigger. That's
there we go.
Really like the best way to describe it.
Where does the trail go now? Down right there.
That way? I don't know.
So at AOAA, you can tell a lot of the trails are difficult to tell like where the trail is and which way to go. Typically the things that I look for is you look for scrapes on the side of the trees. If you see spots where people scrape things on the trees, then you know that most likely that's a route that they've taken. Obviously if you can't see tire tracks and can't figure out which exact way to go. The other thing you can look for is you can look for white marks on the rocks where potentially people have like ran into the rocks. Like that rock right there in the water you can see is a little bit scraped up. That's another way to tell. And then the other way to tell on newer trails, especially newer ones, maybe not on all the older ones, is there's ribbons tied on the side of the trees. And you'll see them like just occasionally like little pink or green ribbons, and the ribbons are the indicators of where the trail is.
Hold on.
So we later learned we chose wisely. That rock there that I'm kind of pointing out, you're supposed to avoid that rock a little bit. It's tilted in such a way that typically it does damage to the side of the vehicle, so you just try to go around that rock.
Right turn up here.
Big rock.
Hey, so you'll see me doing a lot more 3-point turns than kind of necessary. It's because I have 40-inch tires. The tires are up the frame, so I can't turn the wheel as much as anybody else. And so you'll just see me doing a lot of 3-point turns on a lot of different spots in the video.
Hey Brad, how are you? Are you still living in Sedona? How are you liking that? I miss Sedona.
Hey, so I'm going to speed up the video. At this point, basically we just loop around and head to the top of M, and then we'll rejoin with the group, and then we'll come down M, so you'll get to see the rest of the M trail from the top going down. And at this point, the group is splitting up and figuring out who's going to go down M and do M, and who's just going to go basically to lunch.
So this is going to be Thunder Alley.
It goes through this one right here. Yeah, I have no steering on this on the 40s, so I have to like make all these like 3-point like nonsense. Yeah.
You know how this, the way you have your seatbelt, it binds into you?
Oh, yeah.
Put it behind your headrest this way.
Do what?
Then put it behind the headrest. Oh. Now it won't lock on your chest when you're going. Because now you still have mobility, but when it locks, you don't feel it lock. Because it just has your waist. It locks against the seat sitting across here.
All right, cool.
So it gives you a lot more mobility without that extra.
Yeah.
You got more flexibility with it here, but it's still locked against you.
Yeah.
Now you won't feel the lock at all. The very bottom, when you get to the road.
Okay, so this is the M trail. It is similar to Barney Rubble that we just talked about. So this side of the trail is the aggressive side. The other side of the trail is a little bit less aggressive, but it still kind of goes together, and there's still some aggressive obstacles. The obstacle that we just went over that you couldn't really see from this side was basically a drop-off that was about the size of the front headlights. So that would be about a 4-foot drop that we went off. And a lot of the obstacles on the M trail are substantially larger than they are on other blue trails, because it's a black trail, obviously. The other thing to point out is the theme of this ride is like it's a blue ride. So we are doing the blacks going down the mountain, because they're substantially easier when you go down, because gravity helps you, go down. And then we will go up the hill mostly on the blues to make them kind of like a little bit closer to even. I know that there's probably like some novices that are watching this that don't really know much about off-roading or driving. So you see that diamond shaped rock on the left side. It's actually kind of in the center, but it will be on the left side. Basically, like what you do is you put the tires on the biggest rocks that you can find, and then what that ends up doing is it ends up making these like V's or little valleys. And as long as the tires are on the biggest rocks, for the most part, like, you're not going to have that many problems. But if the tires are kind of like in a gully and then the big rock is like between the tires, then you're going to have a problem because the rock's going to, hit something underneath the vehicle. So essentially all I'm doing is just looking down the trail, and I'm looking for the biggest rocks that I can find, and then I'm just putting the tires like on the biggest rocks that I can find. The other thing to point out is sometimes people get a little bit frustrated because they can't go on certain rides because their tires aren't like the right size or whatever for the guide to take them on the trail. And the reason for that is if you just listen to the main principle, like you're putting your tires like on the biggest rock you can find, the smaller your tire is, the harder it is to get it on like a big giant obstacle. Like if the obstacle is bigger than your tire, then it's a lot harder to get your tire up on that rock than if the obstacle is smaller than your tire. So I have 40-inch tires, so it's relatively easier for me than for like other people.
So the whole but there's that rock down there that nobody can squeeze between.
Yeah.
That's the rock there where like you were saying like to go that way, and I was like, no, I like the other way better. Mm-hmm. The only way we squeezed behind it between probably is because I went the other way.
Oh, gotcha.
That was a rock that they were saying like that they were worried about people like damaging their vehicle on.
Oh, we just did this.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I was like, see how like much goes in?
Yeah.
There, that's what I was like scared of. And you were like, well, I don't like that point there. It's like, well, I don't like the point either, but.
I didn't like this turn right here.
Yeah. straight. There we go. Now we're straight. Start climbing. Alrighty.
Anybody else come down behind us?
Yeah, the one dude that was on 37s.
Oh, okay.
Hey, so the next trail after this will be Screaming Jimmy's. It's a double black trail.
Yep.